Today, we're doing a makeover for a mother of the bride. Hi guys, my name's Dr Sarah Tonks. I work right here in London as a cosmetic doctor. Today I am going to be doing a makeover for a mother of the bride. We've already treated her daughters, as you have no doubt seen in previous videos. If you've missed them, I will add a link right at the end of this video so you can go back and check them out. They are all gorgeous women. I'm sometimes asked, when is it too late to start doing injectable procedures? In my opinion, I don't think there is such a thing as it being too late, but the longer it's left, the harder it becomes to get a good result. I am going to show you a lady today whom I think has got a really lovely result, all just through injectables, and she's never had anything previously done before, but we did have to do quite a bit to take her from A to B. Anyway, I'm going to take you on that journey with me right now. So let's do the assessment. What's the first thing that jumps out to you about this lady? For me, it was probably her skin texture, and also the fact, well, she looks kind of sad, right? She's got this sort of downturned edge to her eyes. I wouldn't say her lip is downturned, but she could definitely look a bit happier. Actually, patients often say that to me. They want to look less sad or less tired. And one of the ways that we do that is to take away these kind of negative vectors which occur in the face. So anything that's pointing downwards like this, we stop it from doing that and bring it back up again. And we're going to see that today. This is kind of interesting. So you see these muscles here. You see this line that she's got all across here. They're pretty overactive, and especially on this side you can see that the brow is really quite peaked, a lot more than it is over on this side. So we're going to try and give her a bit of harmony there. The next thing is we've got some heaviness of the skin in the upper eyelid, and the fold just folds in a slightly different way on the opposite side. Now, eyelid heaviness is not really something that I do anything about myself. That's probably more of a surgical option. There are things that you can use to tighten up the upper lid. For example, plexer, some chemical peels, like maybe a very deep TCA or a phenol peel. You can also do CO2 laser there. I don't like doing anything that's got a lot of downtime. So if a patient did want to do something like that, I tend to refer them out. Check this out. We've got quite a bit of fat underneath the eye here, which is herniating through the muscle there. And that's definitely something that we can disguise using some dermal fillers. We've got quite a lot of cross-hatching of the skin. Oh, it's kind of all over the face. It's a combination of sun damage, glycation. We are going to use some products to sort that out and give a smoother appearance to the texture of the skin. Like I said, I prefer using injectables. You can also use something like a CO2 laser if you want to get some real tissue contraction there. I don't really like using any, well, basically anything that gives you an awful lot of downtime. With CO2 laser, you would have a good week or so of downtime afterwards. You can see also that we've got some fine lines in the upper lip here and some jowling going on. And remember guys, part of the reason why we get jowling is because we've lost the fat from this part of the face. It's all gone, and it's allowed the tissue to descend. Also, the chin has rotated upwards. So we've gone down here, up here, makes that bit worse. When I'm first working with a patient like this, I tend not to get too over involved with worrying about their proportions or what I would call fine details. So things like, I don't know, noticing that this part of the upper lip is not quite as full as the other side. I'd probably look at that at a second session. And because this lady, well, we did everything that you're going to see all in one session, I don't move on to doing the finer points of her work. Maybe at some point in the future I'll have her come back, and then that's certainly something that we can address. But I always find it quite interesting when patients come into the clinic and they ask for a detail to be fixed, like any asymmetry in the lip, or for example crow's feet around here, or lines in the upper lip like this. There's a very set order in which we have to do these things, otherwise it looks a bit weird. So let's go over and see exactly what we did. I'm sure you can all guess where we started. I started by adding some dermal filler into the cheekbone area for lifting, and we're going to start on the right hand side here, and after we've done the cheekbone we do the front part of the cheek using a cannula. This is all pretty straightforward stuff so far. Now we're going to go over and do the base of the nose. This is one of my favorite injections, as I mentioned to you before, because it helps with the nose to mouth line without actually injecting the nose to mouth line itself. It also helps to rotate up the nose slightly. A lot of people want to get their tear trough done. I hear that quite a bit. Oh, I don't like the line underneath my eye. I feel like I look tired. I don't like the darkness underneath my eye. That's cool. You can definitely inject that area, of course, but you have to lay the groundwork first. So often you'll need to inject the cheekbone and the front part of the cheek, as we already have, before you can then go on and do the tear trough. Because if you just do the tear trough on its own, it looks really weird. It looks like you're smuggling a big balloon under there. And by injecting the cheek first, it decreases the amount of product that you need to put in the tear trough itself. Why is this a big deal? Well, tear trough filler it's not one of the easiest things to do or have done. And the reason for that is because the skin there is very, very thin. So if you use a lot of product, there's a risk that you can see the product through the skin, which appears like looks like a blue sort of discoloration under the skin. There's a risk that you can see any lumps and bumps underneath the skin very, very easily. And there's a risk of swelling because hyaluronic acid holds a lot of water into itself. So if you're somebody who's got pretty poor lymphatic drainage underneath the eye, and then you go ahead and put loads of dermal filler underneath the tear trough, the dermal filler will hold water there and it can end up looking extremely puffy. Because of all those reasons, what I'm doing here is a sort of indirect technique to improve the tear trough. So you can see I'm using a cannula right now going up to the bottom part of the tear trough. We're going to deposit some filler there and just check the half and half. So we've already got some improvement of the tear trough without actually injecting inside it. This is another one of my favorite injections. So again, we're taking a cannula, this time on the left side of the face, and we're fanning upwards towards the ear because this will give you even further improved lift. We're really focusing tightly on the mid-face first of all. Get the mid-face right, and then we can move on to a different area. It's much better, in my opinion, to absolutely nail one area, use enough product so that you've made the best improvement that you can, and then move on to the next point. Otherwise, you kind of end up with half a job. It doesn't look good. Now I'm using lots of tiny little injections in front of the ear on the right, and this is quite an interesting technique. I just do lots of tiny little blebs in front of the ear and it helps to hold the tissue up there. It works really well. And moving on now to the chin crease. This is something I do on pretty much everybody. This is something that you guys might not have seen before. It's a way of injecting a nasolabial fold without injecting directly up the line. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is because I don't want to create a sausage there. She's got very thin skin there, and if I just inject directly up the nasolabial fold, you can create a sausage. So by going in from both sides all the way down, it can leave you with a much more natural looking result, especially on movement. I'm also going to do the same technique in the marionette line region. Okay, I'm using here now a product called Juvederm Volite for skin improvement. You might not have this yet if you're watching it from the States. It's a finer product than Juvederm Volbella, which I believe you guys call Volure. It's even lighter than that, and it's more for hydration. A lot of ladies are a bit nervous about doing anything to their lips because they think as soon as they inject the lip, that's it. It's going to be, out here. It's going to literally enter the room before they do. It's definitely not the case if you use a very light and forgiving product like Juvederm Volbella, which is what I'm using right here. So you can see I'm initially doing the Glauco Klein point, which is just the top part of the Cupid's bow, and also the philtrum, which are these two lines here above the upper lip. Getting support there is quite important, because if all your volume is actually in the red part of the lip and then this is all dished in, it looks really weird. It looks kind of like this. Now I'm going to go back to the vermilion border with one of these little insulin needles to the middle third. So because I've done the lip and I don't want to get a ski slope there, I'm going to go back in, so above the upper lip, between the nose and the actual pink part of the lip with a cannula, and fill in all that area there, and that helps to decrease those tiny little vertical lines. Again, I'm going to use some Vol Light here to improve the texture of the skin on the cheeks. Now we're going to get into being all about texture. So we've hit her with the Vol Light, which is great for discrete lines and wrinkles. And I'm going to go over to use some Profilo, which again, I don't believe you've got over there in the States yet. It's also a hyaluronic acid dermal filler, which spreads out underneath the surface of the skin and gives you kind of like a lattice work underneath the skin, giving you very, very good hydration. So we do this in quite a set way. We do 5 injection points normally when we're using Profilo. There are 3 along the cheek, and then 1 at the angle of the jaw, and then 1 in the chin. I've got to tell you, my patients love this. They love the glow that they get afterwards. I know that's a real buzzword right now, but it really does give your skin this lovely luminosity after you've had a treatment. And lastly, I'm going to finish off with some toxin here. Frown lines, forehead, and crow's feet. So let's go over to our results. Okay guys, so let's have a look at our results. I was pretty happy with what we got. You see in the before picture, there's quite a lot of arching in the eyebrow, and then this one's much more flat, and we've got a difference in the skin on the upper eyelids. Well, I dropped this one down so that it looks a lot more equal. You see that? And then also the skin now on the upper eyelids. Yeah, I know we've got more heaviness appearing on that side, but it also looks more even. You can see that the overall contour and shape of the face has changed significantly. So whereas before we had this kind of shape like so, here we are a lot smoother in our outline. And that is because we've added a whole bunch of filler right here, and also underneath the eye. And that's had the effect of lifting everything upwards. Also, we've added some product in this area here, and you can see it does not look as dished in as it does in the before picture. See, this is all hollow here. Not so much in the after. She's still got a little bruise there because this is only a couple of weeks after we did the treatment. The shape of the lip is improved. So yeah, we still have that little bit of asymmetry, but it's not as significant as it previously was. I'm talking about this part of the lip being smaller. Still is in the after, but not quite as much. And the lip, I think it looks pretty natural. I think we've got some good volume in there, and the texture of the skin looks a lot better, but it doesn't look overly done. The thing that I'm actually the most pleased with is the quality of the skin. So you can see here all this sort of cross-hatching of the skin. It does look very dehydrated and tired. In the after picture, really not so much. I'd say that she's got a really nice reduction there in fine lines. And I don't know about you guys, but I think the biggest improvement is actually in her expression. So in the before picture, I don't know, she's got this sort of almost worried, anxious look, possibly because she knows what's about to come, who knows. And then in the after picture, there's a lot more serenity and confidence. She's just exuding something positive from her. As I mentioned, I've previously treated both of her daughters in previous videos. So let's just get them up on the screen. You can see that we've got our bride-to-be here and our beauty queen. You can definitely see the family resemblance there, right? Okay guys, so that's all we've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and you agree that our patient looks as beautiful as I think she did in her after pictures. Please, please, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Every time you don't, another YouTuber dies, unfortunately. And if you've got any comments, please let me know in the section below. I'll see you again next week where we're talking about more things to do with injectables. See you then.